Have you ever stopped to wonder why everything needs to grow? Your income needs to grow. Your investments need to grow. Your country's GDP, your company's quarterly revenue, your social media followers, even your to-do list. All of it needs to grow. Always up, always more. But nobody really asks, why? We just assume that growth is good. Growth is success. Growth means you're doing something right. A business that doesn't grow? It's failing. An economy that doesn't grow? Recession. A person who doesn't want more? Lazy. That's the world we live in. But let's slow down. Imagine you're running a bakery. You make good bread, your customers are happy, you make just enough to live well. One day, someone asks, "So, when are you expanding?" You say, "I'm not," and they look at you like you just confessed to a crime. Why? Why is staying the same seen as failure? This is the lie we've been sold. That value comes from expansion. That more is always better. That progress means getting bigger. But let's dig into it. Most modern economies run on debt. Governments borrow, corporations borrow, people borrow. And to repay that debt, they count on one thing: growth. Because if the economy grows, there's more money tomorrow than there is today. That means you can pay off yesterday's promises without going bankrupt. So when politicians talk about stimulating growth, what they really mean is, we need the machine to keep going, or the whole thing starts falling apart. But here's the problem. We live on a finite planet. Limited forests, limited water, limited time, limited attention. And yet, the system we've built demands infinite expansion. We're expected to consume more every year, work more, produce more, build more, no matter the consequences. Because if we stop growing, crash, panic, collapse. It's like designing a car with no brakes. You can only go forward. We measure economic success by the growth of GDP, gross domestic product. But GDP doesn't care what is growing. It just counts transactions. If a factory pollutes a river and we hire people to clean it up, GDP goes up. If more people get sick and go to the hospital, GDP goes up. If a tech company convinces millions of people to pay for things they don't need, GDP goes up. But if a parent stays home to raise their kids, if a community shares food without money, if someone takes a day off to rest, GDP sees nothing. So we end up chasing a number that ignores well-being, sustainability, and sanity. We praise ours growth, even when it's making life worse. This isn't just theory. Look around. Fast fashion grows, so do landfills. Big tech grows, so does anxiety. Car companies grow, so does traffic and air pollution and car loan debt, and so on. But we don't question it. We call it progress. Now let's be fair. Growth isn't always bad. Growth can mean improvement, vaccines, clean energy, access to education. But there's a difference between development and expansion at all costs. One makes life better. The other just makes it busier. What makes this worse is that individuals don't benefit equally from this growth. Sure, the economy grows, but do your wages keep up? Do your hours go down? Most people work harder than ever, yet they feel stuck. Stagnant pay, rising prices, endless hustle. The pie gets bigger, but your slice stays the same or even shrinks. So we end up with this weird paradox. We're told the economy is booming, but people feel exhausted, disconnected, and poor. Maybe it's because growth, by itself, doesn't guarantee anything. It just means more, not better. Now here's a hard truth. The system can't stop growing. It wasn't designed to. Our pensions, investments, and government budgets are built on assumptions of perpetual expansion. If growth stops, debts can't be repaid. Markets panic. Jobs vanish. Politicians scramble. It's a treadmill we can't step off. But here's the question. Do we really want to run forever? Run faster. Produce more. Work longer. Chase metrics. Beat targets. Outperform last quarter. And for what? A bigger number? A better stock price? At some point, we have to ask, what are we growing for? The truth is there's an entire economy that doesn't grow in dollars, but grows in meaning. You don't need to open 5 restaurants to be a great chef. You don't need to reach 100 million users to build something valuable. You don't need to double your income to be financially well. Sometimes, enough is enough. And that's okay. Of course, shifting away from endless growth isn't easy. It would mean rethinking how we define success, value, and even purpose. It would mean restructuring systems that depend on expansion and building ones that prioritize balance. But just because something is hard doesn't mean it isn't necessary, because this path we're on, the path of constant acceleration, constant extraction, constant more, leads somewhere. And that somewhere is collapse. Environmental collapse, social collapse, personal collapse. And no GDP number will save us when it comes. So maybe the smartest thing we can do is slow down. Not give up, not go backwards, but pause, breathe, reassess. Ask what really matters. Ask what actually improves our lives. Ask if more is always worth it. Because the system needs endless growth to survive. But you don't need to chase it blindly. You need growth that serves you. Your goals, your well-being, your future. Not just a bigger number. Not just a nicer chart. Smart growth. Sustainable growth. Personal growth. That's not weakness. That's strategy. And maybe, just maybe, that's the kind of growth that lasts